Let's look at ways of displaying data in MATLAB. The basic function for plotting a two-dimensional graph in MATLAB is the plot function. There are a wide variety of syntaxes for this function, allowing you to change many of the settings of the plot as it's created. The simplest plot takes a single vector of data and plots the data values against the index number of the data in the vector. For example, I can import the dailydata.csv file in the exercise files, and then just make sure that all three columns are selected and import them into MATLAB. This displays the date, closing price, and volume of shares traded for the S&P 500 for each day from the year 2000 to 2009. The date in this case is displayed as the number of days since 1900. This is an often used format which makes it easy to do math on the date rather than worrying about going from one month to the next and not having the same number of days in each month. Once the data is imported, you can type the command plot close, and it will automatically plot the closing price versus the index of the data set. Just having an index value isn't very useful though, so I can improve the graph by changing it to plot of date, close. Using two data sets tells MATLAB to consider the first data set as the independent variable and the second as the dependent variable. In this case, the independent variable is equally spaced, so the graph itself doesn't change, but it does update the axis to give more useful information. Once information is plotted, it can be edited in the figure window by clicking on the Tools drop-down menu and choosing Edit Plot, or by running the Plot Edit command in the command window. In this mode, double-clicking any element of the plot will allow you to select and modify it. For instance, double-clicking the plotted line lets me choose the X and Y data sources, the color of the line, and the shape and color of the markers. I can even change the plot type entirely, choosing among lines, bar graphs, area graphs, stair graphs, or stem plots. MATLAB doesn't just display two-dimensional graphs, of course. It also allows for the plotting of three-dimensional graphs. Here, the relevant command is plot3. Going back to the command window, we can type in plot3 and then put in all three variables that we want to include this time. The syntax is almost exactly the same, so we would just put date, volume, close. And this would allow us to see how the value of the S&P 500 relates to both the date and the volume of shares traded for that day. Once generated, this graph can be viewed and edited in the same way as a two-dimensional graph. One tool that might prove specifically useful for this type of graph, though, is the rotation tool. Clicking on the rotation icon and then clicking and dragging on the plotting window will change the perspective on the graph, often making it easier to see and understand.